welcome to my channel. My name is Angel and we're going to talk about my temperature blanket, which is getting rather enormous. I have done some other updates and information videos about this, so check out in the description down below. I'll have all those linked, and I also have a playlist. So if you're interested in temperature blanket content, I do it somewhat often on here, and I have a whole bunch of videos you can watch if you like this one. This year, really quick recap, I am doing a chevron blanket pattern. It's this pattern. If you look up chevron blanket or chevron crochet, it's the first one that shows up on the list. So it's kind of hard to miss, and it is super easy. This blanket is already, we're gonna measure without showing you my blanket. It's enormous. I don't think, see, this is the first crisis of the video. 4 feet or so, and that means it's gonna be another like 12-foot blanket. Shit. I'm just gonna show you the month of March so far and let you know how my struggles went this month. So I do have a separating line of gray in between, and I've already started April a little bit, but here, starting from the gray all the way up to gray again, is our month of March. And Bento might come and make it. Are you coming? No, she's not. I thought Bento was gonna make an appearance, but it was ugly this month. I didn't like it. The striping was kind of cool again, but I feel like the striping was too frequent. Like, we had so many temperature variations this month. We had days where it would snow and then the next day it would completely melt, even though we had like 6 inches of snow. The end of the month, you can kind of see, got a little bit more consistent, and then we finally got like pink. Like this down here was an absolute nightmare to crochet because I just wasn't into the colors. I wasn't into how they were repeating. It just wasn't the vibe. And then we finally got to the end of the month and it was like a bit more consistent and it looked more intentional, which isn't necessarily a goal of this, but it does make me super frustrated when like every day you're changing the color. You can see I did sew in most of my edges for the month. I just have like a few days here at the end where I didn't. But overall, my experience this month, it went pretty smoothly. I am remembering now why I don't necessarily enjoy like keeping up with it day to day and crocheting like every day after midnight that night, because it does get frustrating. You have like maybe half an hour or whatever I casually crochet at, and then you're done until the next day. And so I did find myself literally forgetting my blanket existed so that I would have some more days to accumulate and I would have some more to work on. Like being able to do my 4 rows and then 2 rows of April was absolutely thrilling because I was like, oh my god, I can actually sit down and work on this for more than like a few minutes. And something that has popped up in previous months is trying to figure out my number of stitches. So as I mentioned, these are pretty much like repeats of 12, and then you have a 3 in 1 stitch, and then you go down and you skip 2. So in previous months, I had some where I didn't remember to do all 12 stitches for some reason or another. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. And this last month, when I got to the end and I fixed it in the gray, I only had 2 instances. I had one where, well, 2 of them where I was short, and so I just doubled up in those stitches. And then it evens out the blanket. So I think we're learning. I mean, I've been crocheting for probably 20 years at this point. No. Yeah, probably like 20 years. So we still have our stitch markers here. I'm not going to be getting rid of those anytime soon because apparently I'm just unable to learn. But this pattern is great. I think I did fail in making such a large blanket again. For now, we have my enormous blanket, which has moved out of the project bag and is now in like this big Tupperware container. But altogether, I think that the colors look really nice. It's just really hard when the colors don't really look great together. And also the fact that these blankets get so large. I think people are smart to not do just the single rows anymore. But I am still enjoying it, and I like now that, as it's a little chilly still in pre-spring time, that I have a big enough blanket that it covers me as I'm working on it. That is always a plus. But let me know in the comments down below if you are doing a temperature blanket and how yours is going so far. I, again, might start bundling these up like every 2 months instead of every month because I'm not having a lot of change in the process. But I do still want to offer you some updates. Also, if you don't end up watching these videos, I do have an Instagram down below, and sometimes I show it on TikTok, but I do updates there as well in case you want to look at them. And you get to see more of like a laid out still version versus me just holding it up. But thank you so much for watching. Leave me some sort of purple emoji down in the comments below. Let me know you made it this far, and I will see you next time.